Night City is full of gangs, just scraping by in the landscape of its moral half-life. But few market themselves as honorable and just. Few gangs carry themselves like a family. And few are as grandiose as the Valentinos. And it's rare to find a member who would throw their family under the bus. Jackie Wells exemplifies the core values of the Valentinos. He's loyal, protective, and as far as honor among thieves goes, Jackie is certainly up there. But he was grandiose as well. Grandiose in his emotions, and his love for those he cared about. Grandiose in his aspirations. And unfortunately, too grandiose for his own good. The Valentinos are a gang that protects the people of Haywood, and all the barrios populated by a predominantly Latino population. Jackie joined up young, and it is no secret of his mother's involvement in the gang. Jackie's own father was a member of the Valentinos, though from what Misty tells us, he was not exactly the ideal father figure. Jackie never had any real good things to say about him, and from what we can gather, his dad either died or left the family when Jackie was still young. Jackie's dad was not the best influence in his life. He was extremely close to his mother, Mama Wells. Her bar, the Coyote Cojo, is a beating heart in the Valentino nightlife scene. And there's no doubt that Jackie grew up surrounded by members of this gang. If anyone tried to cause harm to his mother, the Valentinos were there to smack him down. And the Padre, for as long as he's been in power, has been a present figure in Jackie's life. Jackie was a true son of Haywood, and it is no surprise that Jackie took up his guns under the Valentino banner. In a way, it's likely one of the only viable options he had as yet another impoverished kid born in Night City. Despite his own feelings about his father, Jackie was beginning to follow in the man's footsteps. But he didn't want to be a repeat of his dad. Jackie had wanted to be a better man than the one who had left him and his mom behind. For young Jackie, the Robin Hood-esque ideals of the Valentinos would have been fascinating stories, ones that likely inspired him to grow up into the boisterous, bold, and good-natured guy we know him as. Once that youthful steam cleared, Jackie would have inevitably saw the truth, that no matter what he did, or what the Valentinos helped him make in a day, if he kept on this course, a course of unending firefights and turf wars with other gangs, he would be stuck in Night City forever. Jackie left the Valentinos as a young man and set his sights on becoming a Night City legend. He would aim higher than any Valentino before him and create a better life for those he cared about. While Jackie wasn't the most famous up-and-comer in the city, he had a lot of experience under his belt. Though, this went hand in hand with an inflated idea of his own capabilities. He was not afraid to get his hands dirty and was smart enough to say no when things were too steep. We can see this when Jackie refuses to take on the job that Corpo V asks him to do in the Corpo Life Path intro. Like most Valentinos, Jackie hates the corpse that lord over people like him. The corpse and the broken system of Night City are what keeps people like him, the less fortunate and lower class, in the dirt, stuck where they are for the run of their lives with no hope of escape. The Valentinos chafe beneath the Corpo hammer more than most gangs and present themselves with what material wealth they can get. When you're so used to nothing, showing off things you do have can tend to be a common reaction. Jackie's own display of this wealth in what he wears is a hint towards what Jackie probably feels he lacks. But despite the way Jackie presents himself, he knew from the get-go that corporations were powerful. And as satisfying as it would be to get one over them, even Jackie knew that their power was far in excess of the gang he grew up in. That is, until a certain fixer knew just what to say to get Jackie on board. Before we dive into Dexter Deshawn, we have to talk about Misty. Misty and Jackie grew up together in Haywood and went completely different ways from there. Misty is a standout in Night City, and not just for the nature of the business that she runs, but because of her own view of Night City. Misty wants to help the people of the city reconnect with their humanity. Her approach might not be fitting for most people, but Misty's heart is in the right place, and Jackie recognizes that. Misty has at least diagnosed one of the most common illnesses in Night City that makes it such a hellhole for the people who live there: a lack of humanity and connection to themselves. For Jackie, the Valentinos and his mother are his heart. But Misty, once he reconnected with her before the start of 2077, becomes his soul. I think Misty appeals to him because both he and her agree that Night City is a crappy place to be, and they both understand the dehumanization that goes on every day. But Jackie, even if he could leave, would choose to stay, because Jackie wants to care for his mother, for instance, and those still in Night City that he loves. It's a beautiful concept, but I think, sort of like David Martinez, Jackie has a way of putting others' well-being before himself. Jackie is already traveling a road of self-destruction, although it's not as easy to see it at this point. But Misty sees this. Misty wants Jackie to care for himself and take into account his own needs, beyond just wanting to aim high for fame and glory. Jackie is stubborn, and he blows this off more and more, because for him, he has all this riding on him. The happiness and safety of the people that he cares about, including Misty. And Jackie doesn't really listen to Misty, sort of like how David and Lucy did not exactly listen to each other. Jackie's enlarging dreams were becoming too large for him to ignore. A thing we learn from Misty after Jackie's death is that he promised he would take a bullet for her, even if it would kill him. And he means this, no doubt about it. Jackie was that kind of guy. Coincidentally, the event that led to him finally leaving the Valentinos was when he took 3 bullets right near the heart. He told his mom he was bulletproof after this, something she knew was just said to make her feel better about her son getting in danger all the time. Even though we don't know the whole story as to what happened with his dad, I get the feeling that he was not a dedicated father or husband. Jackie's dad was not present, even when he was there. And I think Jackie went hard in the other direction, determined to never be anything less than dedicated to the people he loved, to the point that it could harm him. Misty and Mama Wells, despite their differences, both try to sway Jackie from this outlook to no success. The other thing that Misty says is that Jackie was very different underneath his Jackster personality. Jackie was quite artistic, actually. He was thoughtful. He drew up that mandala in his own apartment after Misty recommended it, something she did not expect him to do, but was deeply touched to see after his passing. Jackie read classical literature, specifically For Whom the Bell Tolls by Hemingway, a book whose story, especially the ending, at least for me, ominously aligns with the end of Jackie's own life, and the zest for life that Misty, his own Maria, brought to him. One of the last things that Misty tells Jackie is to avoid mean red light, and during that final heist, as Jackie steps closer and closer to death, the lights around him in Arasaka Tower glow a bloody red. Dexter Deshawn may be a fool to most, but Dexter was smart enough to know that bullshit baffles brains, especially when it came to young, inexperienced, and pumped-up mercs eager for their big break. And this was how he made his name as a fixer. However, unlike Rogue and even Faraday to an extent, Dexter was also known for his screw-ups. We don't really know the specifics of what happened, but around 2075, a job Dexter took on went horribly awry, and this resulted in him lighting the fuse of a gang war that would engulf Pacifica. And Dex ran. He was gone for 2 years, hiding under whatever rock he could find. By the time he got back, nobody worth their salt even wanted to work with him. His name was ruined. So when Dexter Deshawn contacted T-Bug and from there started assembling a team for Evelyn Parker's heist, he was forced to face the fact that nobody in the afterlife would even look in his direction. He had to turn to the less desirable candidates in the solo world. To anybody else, they saw him for what he was: a fraud, a hack, a liar, and maybe even a coward. Dex's only option was mercenaries without a rep. Solos with more gumption than sense. Jackie Wells was the perfect prey. Dex made all these promises to Jackie, of money, of fame, of legend. All the lines that a guy like Dexter knew to say in order to secure the loyalty of a pawn. Jackie was susceptible to being puffed up and manipulated, and Dex knew it. Combined with Jackie's own impatience and a desire for glory, Dex had him in a death grip. But it also doesn't take long for V to see the true nature of Dex Deshawn. Dex even says to V that Jackie is not good at everything, not like V, with Dex being kind of like, nudge, nudge, you're better than your friend. Dexter is a rat from the get-go. Who knows what Dex says about V behind V's back, for instance? I think that the reason why Jackie is so desperate about this job is because he expected to be so much further as a mercenary than he already was. Maybe Jackie really isn't as good a merc as he wanted to be, and so he ignored everything he would have heard about Dex as soon as the too good to be true opportunity presented itself. As far as Jackie knows, this is the only way he can ever be something, and the only way he can ever provide for the people he loves. V was the real ticket in making this heist happen, even if to Dexter, V was just as much of a pawn as Jackie. And I think Jackie knew this too, and that is why Jackie was so desperate to get V on board. This was not going to work without V. In the end, both Jackie and V were just pawns. But for Jackie was far too tempted by this chance that he would not see the writing on the wall. Over the course of prepping for Evelyn Parker's heist, we see that Jackie is becoming bolder, more arrogant, and focused on the wrong things. Jackie is more focused on appearing tough than being smart. He is more focused on the reward than the delicate work they have to do to get there. In that same sort of Valentino presentation over precision that is common throughout members of his gang. Even Jackie's purchase of the bike with the money that he made from the Sandra Dorset job could have been used, for instance, to invest maybe in better cyberware or maybe in better weaponry. Jackie just sort of splurged. But all of this points to Jackie's own insecurities, his own brushing off of Misty and his mom, his own indulgence in the good things that are suddenly flying up at him, the foreshadowing of Jackie descending into afterlife, into this place of sin and excess, was a very good hint at how this was all going to go. At this point, we can already see that V is still taking this more seriously than he is. But deep down, despite all of this surface enjoyment, Jackie is still dealing with a deep sense of inadequacy. Jackie wants to be a Night City legend, and most solos like him do. It's the highest form of acknowledgement for anybody like Jackie in this city. After all, Jackie is just a kid from Haywood, a worthless ganger who has been told his whole life he will never amount to anything more than that. For me, Jackie is a lot like David Martinez from Edgerunners, and even Maine to an extent. All of these characters are afflicted by the battering ram that Night City just pummels people with from birth, that you are not good enough. You're not worthy enough. You're just not enough, period. The line that Jackie says to V in the car.
Let me explain something to you, V. My whole life I've spent in this shit around us, and I ain't going back.
Just speaks to the genuine hatred Jackie has for the unfairness of Night City. The squalor that nobody with the actual power to enact change would ever try to fix. Jackie never wants to go back to that, and he doesn't. But he doesn't want the people that he cares about to be stuck there either. When Jackie is fatally shot, I think he knows right then and there that that's the end of the line for him. He takes the chip and doesn't even think about the personal cost to himself in inserting it. This is Jackie's only chance to help his mother, to help Misty. he has to get the payment, even if V is the one to be the middleman for him in that case. At his core, Jackie is a good and loving person, but a person that, in his quest to become the opposite of his father, was slowly descending to the same fate as him, absent from the lives of the people that he cared about. V was the merc that Jackie always wanted to be, almost like a big brother or big sister kinda. But Jackie never let that envy sour their friendship. His Valentino heart was what made him see V as much the same as him, someone else lost in the Night City madness. Jackie is initially comfortable with the heist because of V's involvement. V is competent and smart, and Jackie values this in his friend. So far, they've been able to conquer a whole lot of jobs together, so why not this one? Or at least that's the line Jackie keeps telling himself. The only friction we really see between the two is at Konpeki, and this is demonstrated over V's questioning of why are you not taking this job seriously? V is capable of the things that need to be done if you want to be successful, and Jackie is not, and he knows this. I think another part of Jackie is also kind of upset of like looking at his friend and saying, you know where I grew up, you know what I had to go through. How can you not see why I want this so badly? Jackie, I think, is the type of person who, instead of taking out insecurities and perceived failures on other people, he internalizes them and just keeps battering himself with them. I think Misty was the only one who was able to crack into this hidden place inside himself and to help make him feel better, to give him some relief and to try and help him acknowledge that this is not healthy. But Jackie, despite everything, is extremely noble in his last moments. I think in knowing he's about to die, he knows he has to get V out. Number one, should his family need help or should Misty need help, V will be there. V will do it. But also I think Jackie feels a degree of responsibility for roping V into this job, because he did. And Jackie does love V like family. And I think understanding this responsibility is why Jackie takes the shard without hesitation in the first place, at least until there is no other option but to give the shard to V. Jackie never does go back to the squalor of his childhood. Jackie passes away in the Excelsior Delamain, his first real taste of luxury. Excelsior is a poem, actually, written by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow in 1842. Excelsior follows a story of doomed idealism, very fitting for the story and themes of Cyberpunk, but also for Jackie's character to a T. The luxury he had sought in his life was worthless, even as he lay dying upon plush, expensively upholstered seats, dying with his best friend trying to comfort him and remind him of the good things he had in life. Jackie regrets his last words with Misty, considering they were an argument about the very job that got him killed. Jackie regrets not being there to care for his mother. He regrets not being able to celebrate with V. But Jackie, in typical Jackie fashion, does not dwell. He passes the torch of his dream to V, the ticket that more or less saves V, the relic that brings V back from the dead, giving V a chance at a new, if shorter, life. Jackie's final wish is for V to carry the hope of a better life with them, that there is a better life than the one that they were both born into. That kid from Haywood, a son who strove to be better than his father, to the point that it ultimately led to his end. A fighter who dared to scratch above the meager goals of the gangs, and a man who loved to the lees, but ended up leaving the girl behind that he had wanted to spend his life with. An end not unlike his father, the man who Jackie swore to never be. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. This one was very fun. Jackie still makes me sad to this day. I still am upset we can't save him. And CDPR did an amazing job with making us care about this guy in such a short amount of time. I wish we could have been able to play the montage scenes with him, but it was still very It's one of my favorite cutscenes in the whole game. It's great. Please have a wonderful day, guys, and I will see you again in the next one. Thank you, guys. Goodbye.